Once you have seen the haunting ending of Damien Chazelle's First Man, it becomes apparent just how manufactured the American flag controversy really is. After all, the flag is visible throughout the stoic astronaut's life, concluding with a broadcast echoing the immortal words of President John F. Kennedy about American aspirations. However, on the moon, the flag isn't the point of the picture. While Gosling talked about human achievement, he specifically meant not the national glory of success, but rather the personal anguish of fulfilling your individual dreams. Throughout First Man, the quiet and dignified Armstrong has yearned, but never vocalized his deep desire to become the first man on the moon. And yet, once he is on that barren rock, everything he's lost to get there intermines and overwhelms the emotions of this intensely personal man. Armstrong's first steps, a moment that will reverberate in human history, is meticulously recreated in First Man. Yet the real ending is what happens after those ghostly footsteps are left permanently imprinted on the moon dust. The music, simultaneously triumphant in its otherworldly use of the theremin and melancholic in its oral weepings, echoes back to the first time you heard this theme. It is the piece of music Justin Hurwitz wrote for Neil Armstrong as he watched helplessly as his daughter Karen passed away. It plays again with a more notably alien and reflective touch here, but it still illuminates where Armstrong's mind is, even before his solar visor is raised. The single time Armstrong is depicted as lifting his visor and viewing the moon with his own eyes is when he has come to say goodbye. Goodbye to his passion. Goodbye to his veritable mania for this orbital object, and goodbye to the losses he's left behind to get there. Goodbye to Karen. He drops Karen's bracelet, a piece of child jewelry he gave to his daughter when she was sick, and kept in his study when it came time to bury her. We did not see the placement of the flag because the placement of the bracelet is so much more profound in the story Damien Chazelle is telling. Perhaps more so than any of his movies before, First Man surmises that human achievement comes at a cost of great suffering. And for the buttoned-up Neil, that suffering amounts to an ocean of pain whose horizon is only made clear when Karen's bracelet vanishes along the dark side of the moon. It is in this moment where we have come to understand all the guilt and shame that has driven Neil as much as the fury. This is not in terms of the discernible shame that he couldn't have done anything more to save his daughter, but rather in the sense that he couldn't figure out how to. At the beginning of the film, Neil is denied by the US Navy he was currently flying for the possibility of taking time off in order to seek out a specialist for Karen's brain tumor. It is certain that no medical procedure, especially in the early 1960s, would have been able to spare her, but that inability to even fully try implicitly haunts Neil all the way to the moon. He never speaks her name again in the picture after she dies, but the visible way in which Neil is a man who can figure out the technical challenges of stopping Gemini 8 in space from spinning, or how to endure the technical malfunctions of an X-15 flight, it suggests a man whose life is built on a foundation of practical problem solving. When the problem cannot be solved, be it both his daughter's literal tumor or the emotional pain her death creates, there is nothing to fill that void but his work and his ambitions. The two are thus quietly interlinked throughout the rest of the film. During a funeral for a pair of fellow astronauts, Armstrong is haunted by the visions of the child he will not name. His wife knows that this is a specter possessing a soul, for which she asks Ed White if Neil has ever even mentioned Karen. The answer is obviously no, but that's the difference between Neil's ability to attend 4 funerals in a year and his complete breakdown years later where he abandons his own wife. In the following scene, Ed finds Neil standing alone, staring at the moon. In Neil's mind, Karen and the moon have become synonymous. They are the spirits that drive him. It is possible he is losing himself as a distraction in his desire to be the first person to cross the moon's surface, but it is more likely he connects to them because one is a problem he knows he can defeat, and the other is one whose lack of answers will be with him for the rest of his life. He will make the moon his own because he cannot reconcile Karen's memory with her absence. It is why he flatly ignores Buzz's boast about taking his wife's jewelry to the moon in order to make it more valuable. Neil is of course going to carry jewelry up there, not to bring back as a souvenir, but rather to leave it there as a monument of what he has lost and what he has gained. And this returns us to a common theme present in all of Damien Chazelle's films: the agony and ecstasy of achievement. First Man cements systematic anguish and zeal. Neil Armstrong reaches for his own achievement as a cure for the intangible pain he has hidden away. It is grief that compels him, and a sense of loss he cannot wrap his arms around. There is no artifice of him letting go of Karen's bracelet on the moon, only the sense of a man accepting a price paid for a dream achieved, and whose receipt is confided in the solitary company of one. It is a send-off which is perhaps one of the most cathartic pieces of cinema in recent years. It is an experience which marks Chazelle as one of the greats of his generation.